Good morning, traders. It is Monday, July 8th, 2019. I'm Jonathan Van Kloot with Stock Navigators. Quick reminder, as always, make sure you hit that thumbs up button on the video if you like what I have to say here, and throw any feedback you have for me in the comments below. And of course, subscribe to the channel as well so you can be kept up to date on what we've got coming up in the near future. And with that, let's start taking a look at the markets this morning. We have got the ES pulling back a little bit. It had this big push up into the G20 meeting with the various countries getting together to talk about their differences and whatever goes on at those things. And the market pushed up into that and now is pulling back. So to me, my analysis, this looks like we've got the end of a wave 1 up, a wave 2 down, and now we are in a wave 3 up and are just in a normal pullback during that correction. Oscillator is still going higher. So, so far, it looks like the wave 3 has got room to run. I don't see any serious signs right now of trouble. Everything is absolutely still up. You could draw a trend line, say it's a little sloppy, but roughly about there, and see that clearly the trend is still intact. The 13 EMA is above the 50. 50 is angling upwards. Oscillator is strong to the upside. MACD line is bullish. Absolutely everything is completely bullish. Everything is in bull territory. On the 60-minute shorter term chart, we do have a pullback. We had a break of this trend line that was roughly right about there. And now we've had a pullback. We pulled back below it, came back up to test it, held below, and did not, however, form a lower low. We have formed a higher low. So we've also got the oscillator is trending upwards. And right now we are in this kind of wedge formation. So we're just waiting to see what happens when price gets to the end of the wedge. Now, most likely, my expectation is a break to the upside. We'll have to wait and see. We don't know for sure what's going to happen yet, but right now, anyhow, things are looking bullish on the bigger time frame. The shorter time frame has temporarily gone bearish. We've got the 13 below the 50 SMA, price below the 50 SMA, oscillator in bear territory. So yes, the shorter time frame, everything looks bearish. But never, ever forget to pay attention to your larger time frame, because the larger time frame will always dominate the smaller time frame. So this is the trend we need to be paying much more attention to. Now, if you are a scalper, a very short-term day trader, what have you, and then that is a different story. And you may very well just want to scalp a point or two to the upside or the downside, or both. You can trade both directions if you are a very short-term trader, but that is a very advanced trading style, and you better really know what you're doing to be able to jump in and jump out and be that nimble. But that is certainly viable. So right now, just basically waiting for the pullback to conclude and for the market to resume an upwards trend, or for a lower low to be formed, and then a lower high. And at that point, or even actually technically a lower high there, lower than that. And if we see that, if we see a lower low and a lower high, then that changes things. And now the trend is going to want to continue to the downside. So we just got to wait and see this morning, give the market time to work out what it wants to do. There's going to be a lot of people who are finally back after the long holiday weekend, or long holiday week rather. So things might begin to pick up this week. It's also possible that it'll be next week before things really start to pick up and get more volatile, because there definitely are people who were taking a couple of weeks last week and this week. So we'll just have to see who's back in the markets this morning at the opening bell in about 40 minutes. Let's take a look at the Russell 2000, and it is much the same. Everything is still looking like it wants to head higher. And so far, anyway, I don't see any significant signs of trouble. The 13 still above the 50. We've got the rising trend line. Everything is looking bullish. In the very short term, we did have a bit of a pullback, and now we have popped back over. The oscillator is trying to get above the zero line. Right now, it's just kind of flirting right at it. So it does not have a definite decision made on which direction it wants to go. It's just kind of heading sideways right now in this little channel here. So we'll have to wait and see for it to get out of, actually, it's really this whole area. Pretty much this entire thing is one big channel. So except for this big break below. So right now it's got to get up and out of that channel, up above this sort of double top here, or it's got to make a lower low and a lower high. And it's so much like the ES, it's very much the same kind of thing. We're looking for it to decide on a definite direction, pick a lane and go. And then we can look to trade directionally either way, depending on which way it goes. So just keep an eye on direction this morning after the bell. Excuse me. And see what the market wants to give you and trade accordingly. I am having some serious internet issues this morning, it looks like. All right, crude oil. Crude has popped higher, of course, and then pulled back, did just a very classic pattern, and is now looking to head higher. So we've got higher highs and higher lows, higher high, higher low, and we are continuing that pattern. The oscillator is on the upside. The MACD line is just barely above the zero line, but it is above, and at the moment, price is below the 50 but above the 13, so we're just kind of sandwiched right in between these two moving averages. And what we'll want to watch for is for the 13 to get above the 50, take price with it and hold, and then that will signify that this market wants to head higher. Otherwise, we're looking to make a lower low here and then a lower high, lower than somewhere around there at the moment, and that would signify that the trend is now to the downside. We're looking for a continuation to that direction. On the 60-minute shorter term time frame, oscillator is above the zero line and is holding it. So this market does want to go higher. It's trying to go higher. Doesn't have a huge amount of momentum behind it right now, but right now it is higher highs and higher lows and higher high, and at the moment anyway, a higher low. So the trend is up. We'll just need to see it start to build a little bit more momentum and continue that trend to the upside, or to break the low and head to the downside. So right this moment anyway, just in a wait and see. Everything's kind of in a wait and see mode. Not surprising, since we've essentially had several days with not a whole lot going on, or really almost an entire week last week with not a whole lot going on. So we're going to have to see what happens this morning, and just give it time to work itself out. Don't be too eager. Don't jump in right at the opening bell and start trading. I mean, unless that is your strategy and it's proven and you know that's how you can trade and that's what works for you, in which case, hey, keep doing it. But for most people, you're better off waiting the first half hour to an hour, depending on the day, and let the market pick a direction, work itself out, and decide what it wants to do, and then trade. All right, gold is trying to get higher, but so far it's been stopped right up here. We've got kind of this double top going on here with a weakening oscillator. So it's not looking great for gold at this moment, but it's certainly not looking catastrophic either. We don't have lower lows and lower highs. We could, if we get below this low, then that would be a lower high and then a break of the lower low. And that would certainly be concerning. That would be signs of a pullback. And then we'll want to watch out for the levels below, the past support levels, this kind of area here, that sort of thing. So right now you can see the sidewaysness recently in gold, and it's just kind of channeling around in this area and not doing a whole heck of a lot directionally. But of course, if you're a short-term trader, there are little scalps to be had. There are certainly trades. So if you know what to look for on those, by all means, grab yourself what you can. Right now, oscillator is trying to head up. It's almost across the zero line, so we'll have to watch very carefully and see what this market wants to do. If it does cross above the zero line and hold, then this pullback is likely finished, and we will be gunning for this high there. And of course, if that high can get taken out, then we are looking for continuation to the upside. We'll have to just see what it wants to do. But right now, anyway, the bulls are clearly still in charge. No question about it. The bears are nowhere near taking over this market yet. All right, natural gas. Natural gas has popped higher. It has been slapped down this morning right at the 50 SMA. So it is trying to head higher, no question about it. This market is now making higher highs and higher lows and higher highs, and now we're looking for a higher low. Maybe this is the higher low. We don't know yet, but oscillator is trending to the up direction. It's gunning for that zero line. If you can get over that and hold, then that will certainly be an extremely good sign for the bulls. And everything right now is looking like we're heading to the upside. Next major target would be, oops, I kind of missed that high right there. Basically somewhere in about this area would be the next major zone to be looking for, next sell zone overhead. So we'll have to see what this market can do. It needs to hold first above the 50 SMA, though. Hold it, but the 13 is going to probably have to get up to the 50 as well and cross it in order for that to happen. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this market try a few times and not be able to do it, and then eventually break higher, allowing the 13 to catch up and get over the 50. So watch for that. On the 60-minute time frame, oscillator is weak right now, but that's not that surprising after this what it wants to do exactly. Right now, it's looking like it's wanting to still head higher. We had a big red candle down, and now we've had another one right reversing that and just undoing that downwards push. So we're watching for a break of that high, and that will definitely tell us that this market is ready to continue higher. Of course, it's up to your risk reward. If your risk reward parameters can sustain it, then you could go along at this level with a stop just below the recent low. And that is perfectly acceptable as long as that fits your parameters. So you need to know your trading style and know what your plan is, know your system, and trade it. All right, let's wrap up by looking at Bitcoin, crypto, and Bitcoin has really just formed a lovely little wedge. Oops, kind of missed that a little bit. Whatever, you get the idea. A lovely little wedge pattern here. And now it's just waiting to see which way does it want to break. It's looking like it wants to break to the upside at the moment. We do have oscillators still very much in the bull camp, as it has been for quite some time. In fact, all of this is all bull. There's been really no break at all in this push higher. This market wants to go higher, no question about it. In past analysis, I've been looking at by the wave counts. I've been looking at this as the end of 5 waves up. I've rethought that now. I realized I was overlooking one rather obvious major signal, which is that this oscillator is higher than back here. And so typically what we will see is when a wave 5 is happening, it's divergent. It is weaker than where the oscillator was at the end of wave 3. So this is much, much, much stronger. So this actually looks like the end of a wave 3 and then an ABC wave 4. And now we're in a wave 1 to the upside. I mean, maybe this was the wave 2, but we don't have any confirmation of that yet. If we can break these highs and head higher, then we will have some confirmation that most likely we are in a wave 3 up on a smaller time frame. Of course, that would be more like a 60-minute time frame, and that would be getting us into the wave 5 on the daily chart, daily wave 5. So anyway, Bitcoin, of course, very volatile as always. Any crypto, very, very high volatility. So trade very carefully if you are an active trader in crypto. And right this moment, anyhow, you can see the bulls are controlling the oscillator, keeping everything above the 0 line. 13 is above the 50. MACD is above the signal line. Everything is bullish at the moment. We've got a rising trend line right here. So everything is looking to head higher. That's all that really is to it. This market just does not look like it wants to come down right now. We did come down to the 38.2 retracement level on this move and rejected. So that qualifies as the pullback. So as I was saying, I believe this is the wave 4, and we're ready to head higher from there. So crypto still very, very bullish. Definitely, at least for Bitcoin. Of course, most cryptos follow Bitcoin to some degree or another. But there are cryptos that, of course, are doing very poorly right now. But Bitcoin happens to still be very much in a bull trend. All right, that is it for this morning's analysis. Nothing exciting happened in the last few minutes on the ES. It's still there and still just kind of working its way through this wedge we have going on the 60-minute chart. So we'll have to see what exactly it wants to do. That's it for me, Jonathan Van Kloot with Stock Navigators. Once again, reminding you real quick, just hit that thumbs up button, give us a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date on what we're doing and get future analyses like these and lots of other good things. And any feedback, comments, symbols you'd like analyzed, techniques that you have questions about, anything I can do to help your trading, throw it in the box below and I will see what I can do to help you out. All right, time for me to go get ready for our premium trading room. I'll see everybody there. Everybody else, I'll be back to do this again on Wednesday. So you have yourself a great trading day. I hope it goes well for you. Take care. Bye-bye.